People seem to forget, if you change today, today will change your life. If you're enjoying the Self-Belief Chief podcast and you're looking for an online coaching partner, make sure to check out Self-Belief Chief VIP. It covers the 5 key areas: performance, relationships, health, finance and career, and spirituality. To really create a transformation for you in your life, you can visit it and find out more information at selfbeliefchief.com/VIP. If you're on the Self-Belief Chief website listening to this podcast, it'll be underneath the episodes, or on whatever medium or platform you're listening to this podcast, there will be a link in the description. But just visit selfbeliefchief.com/VIP to access your online coaching partner with hours and hours and hours of content that's consistently being added to. So hopefully I'll see you there very soon. But otherwise, let's get on with the podcast. So it's quite a funny story, this one. I wanted to share it, but it's worth it because there is a message behind it as well. So I was working with an Olympic athlete, and we weren't even talking about the sort of sporting side of it. We were just talking about actually her day-to-day life. And we were talking and having a conversation, and I noticed, and she'd mentioned that just for, a long time, she'd just been quite teary, just quite teary-eyed. And she said, I'm not even really sure there's a particular reason as such for feeling teary-eyed. But it just won't go away. It just keeps going on. It just carries on. I don't know why I was compelled to ask this question, but I'm so glad that I did, because it's really informed a lot of the coaching style that I have now. So what I asked her was, just out of interest, what music do you listen to? And she paused. She went, I love Adele. I listen to Adele every single day. She's amazing. I listen to her music countless times a day. She's incredible. Now, if you listen to Adele every single day, as great as she might well be, don't you think you'd feel quite teary-eyed? You'd feel quite emotional, right? It might get to you. It might sort of, and it's Adele's wonderful. You feel very connected, but when you don't want to feel emotional and teary-eyed all the time, perhaps listening to Adele every single day and multiple times a day isn't the way to go about things. And we had a bit of a laugh and a joke about that, and she realised that, okay, maybe I need to dial the Adele back a little bit, and unsurprisingly, it did, in fact, make a difference. It certainly helped. But the more important, the more relevant thing amongst that story is that it made me realise something. We've all heard the expression, you are what you eat, right? Well, from that point on, I realised we are what we consume. What we eat, what we drink, what we listen to, what we watch, who we spend time with, the environments we're in, what we read, what we do, where we go to, what actions we take. We are what we consume. And sometimes, very simply with people I work with, they're sort of wondering, what about, am I dealing with this? Have I got a psychological problem here? Am I trying to overcome something? Yeah, of course, those things might be there, to overcome and get extraordinary results. But actually, for a lot of people, it's just that they consume all the wrong things. They want to feel happy. They want to have more laughter. They want to feel more love. They want to feel more joy. They want to feel more gratitude. But then what they do is they watch, murder documentaries, all hours of the day, and, they listen to, something emotional, and, they spend time with quote unquote friends who actually make them feel worse about themselves, and they go to a job which isn't what they want, and they live in an environment which, isn't the type of environment they want to live in, and the actions that they take, they procrastinate, and they don't get good sleep, and they eat junk food. All of those things contribute to not the quality of life that you are hoping for, to not have the feeling that you are hoping for. They all have a part and a role. And so, even by just changing one of those things, it make a massive difference to the quality of your life. So one of the first things I actually get to do ever since I worked with that athlete is actually find out what sort of music people listen to, but find out the music that without question gives them energy, that makes them feel good, that anytime they heard it, it put them in a good mood. And for a while, I'll get them to pick 2 songs, and I'll get them to listen to it multiple times a day, 3 or 4 times a day, each of those songs. Because then you're consuming something that makes you feel good. It's like a really good diet. Except beyond a diet, now you've got all these other things in place. And you do that for a while and you notice a difference. Imagine if you make another change in another aspect in terms of what you watch. Once you've got that down, maybe you make an adjustment in terms of what you eat. Then how much water you're drinking. And then something else, and then something else. And eventually, all you're consuming is the best stuff the best life has to offer. And so if you want the best life has to offer, you have to consume the best life has to offer. You can't just hope it shows up. You can't be suboptimal and then expect to have the best of everything. You have to be, peaking. You have to be at your best. But many people think of all of those things like as if it was a chore. But the reality is, all of those things, just do the things that you enjoy doing. But when I say enjoy, that make you feel how you want to feel. If you want to have more laughter in your life, consider that and make decisions based on that in terms of what you consume. If you want to have more happiness, make decisions based on that and what you consume. If you want to experience more gratitude, make decisions for that. So really the point is, work out what is the emotion you would like to feel more of, that you would like to embody, and that you would like other people to identify you as that type of person. Whatever that emotion is, then gear everything you consume towards that. Get everything to point in that direction. Because then how can you miss? How can you miss? You will feel that emotion. You will feel how you want to feel. That's what we're all looking for. And it's an incredible thing. So I challenge you to write down maybe 10 different categories of things that you consume in some way, shape or form. Write down the positive emotion that you want to live life by. And then in each of those categories, ask yourself, what could I consume differently in order to get that emotion? And it's worth mentioning to do these things one at a time. You try and do them all at once, you won't keep it up. Science proves that if you take on one commitment at a time, you have a 95% chance of turning it into a habit. If you take on 2 commitments at a time, you've only got a 33% chance of keeping one of them. So do them one at a time. Spend 10 days nailing one thing. Then once you've done that, the following 10 days, introduce a new commitment and then a new one. And eventually those habits add up and add up in a way that really alters and changes the quality of your life. And I know that's what you want, because otherwise you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. You wouldn't be here listening to me. And I really appreciate that you are. And I appreciate you're the type of person who wants to do something about their situation, who wants to make a change, who wants to improve the quality of their life, who doesn't want to just settle, who doesn't want to sort of look at everyone else around them who just, consume all the wrong things and think, I'll just do that as well. That actually, if you make those changes, that people might sit up and take notice of who you are and how you are, and they might see you as an inspiration, as someone to aspire to be. And you feeds in all of those things to your talent, to your ability, to your skill set. It gives you more energy. More energy is the oxygen to confidence. More confidence means you take more action. More action means you get to find out what works and what doesn't work. When you do that, you start to get very, very, very close to what you've been searching for all along. Because you are good enough when you do enough. And if you're not doing enough at the moment, that's okay. There's time. We have time to change that. And it's with that change and those new habits and consuming the best that life has to offer that you will experience the best life has to offer. My name is David Holman. If you change today, today will change your life. So enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your life, and I'll speak to you very soon.